Hello, everyone. This is Stephen from the STAMMAFest, and so for this video, I have decided to do a recap on STAMMAFest 2022, and for this recap, I have asked Paul Roberts just to join me. Paul is one of the volunteers with STAMMA over in the UK. So yeah, so maybe actually we can just do a little introduction just to ourselves, just in case anyone doesn't actually know us. So I'm Stephen Green, and I am the creator of the STAMMAFest, which is an Instagram page which was set up on raising the awareness of stuttering, and also advocating for people who stutter. And I've actually asked Paul just to join me because like Paul was one of the shining lights that I met over in Liverpool. So I just thought it would be good to do a recap then just with Paul anyway. So maybe Paul, if you just want to give us an introduction.
Yeah, hi Stephen. Thanks for having me today. Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be a volunteer with STAMMA, and one of the organising team for the STAMMAFest happened in Liverpool in August. So yeah, Stephen and I have kind of known each other online for a while, so it's great to catch up in Liverpool.
Cool. And I'd say the first time I ever heard Paul was because Paul did the voiceover on the Not Just Monday short film, and I just thought Paul's accent was just brilliant. It was just so cool. So yeah, actually that was the first time that I would have heard of Paul anyway. So just to let people know, so STAMMAFest Global was a joint conference that was done by STAMMA and the International Stuttering Association. So we had people that traveled from all over the world that came to Liverpool. So we would have people who stutter. We would have had professionals working in the area of stuttering, and then we would have also had allies that would have come to the conference. So maybe just to kind of start off, Paul, to just kind of talk about some of the takeaways that we got from just being at the conference. I think for me, maybe just the sense of meeting people in person. It was just so big because we would have been talking to a lot of people online for the last couple of years. So to finally get the opportunity to meet people face to face and everything that goes with meeting people in person. So I think that was a very special thing just for me to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people have used the internet and they've used the flexibility that it's given to meet up with people from all over the world, and I think that will continue, which is great. But there's nothing better than meeting face to face. Is that I know, having a coffee, having a pint or two maybe. So I think that whole sense of community and getting back together again. I mean, we had between 250 and 300 people in Liverpool, from, as you say, from 17 different countries. And some people had never met, some people had met online, and some people were old friends. So that real mix of friendships, mix of relationships was really good. And I think one of the themes that we set out to embody in STAMMAFest was the sense of community. That's something that really shone through, I think, both in terms of actually being there and being together as a community, a proud stammering community, stuttering community, and perhaps also the undertones of how to manage a community, how to build a community. And for me, that was really important part. Seeing, smiling faces, laughing, raised voices. Actually, when I was I guess you would have noticed, because I saw you there at the bar a few times on the Wednesday night, and Dean and I were running the bar, and when Tim, the chair of the organising committee, asked people to just be quiet for a moment or two while they made some speeches, I think he had to ask a few times for people to be quiet, because that was the first event of the week, and it's quite unusual to have to ask people who stammer to be quiet. It's kind of usually the other way around. So that was really good. I kind of hope that was a flavour of things to come, and it certainly was.
Definitely. And I think one of the highlights for me was even just breakfast time. So you're just getting to meet all these different people that you never met previously, and so you would maybe be sitting at different tables on different days, and you were just talking, and it's just that sense of I think there's just that sense of freedom, that that the person you're talking to isn't going to finish your sentence, or the person that you're talking to maybe won't lose eye contact with you at the point of a block or at the point of a repetition. It just felt a really safe space, I think, if you agree.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that I use the phrase our stammering tribe, and I think it's a real thing. Exactly as you say, when you go out with your mates, when you're eating dinner with your family and they're all fluent, they're your mates. They know what's going on. They know you stammer, but they don't know about stammering because they don't do it themselves. So to sit around the table with 4, 6, 8 other people who stammer, who actually know what you need from them as the listener, to know you just need them to listen and wait for you, and kind of maintain that eye contact. They know what to do, so there's no pressure. There's zero pressure. It sounds like you found that as well. Not being the odd one out, being part of the group is a massive thing, I think.
Definitely. And even just in relation to the stammering and the stuttering, that it just felt okay to let it happen as well. So when you're in your repetition, you can just let it go. Hey, that you don't feel that, just didn't feel that kind of time pressure to, okay, maybe I need to get out of this now. That you can just let it happen then as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people use different techniques for fluency. you know, whenever suits them. But I think in a situation like that, you can really let go, and you could just talk however you want to. It doesn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
matter, because it's just talking in a different way, isn't it?
Definitely. And maybe we could talk about the so the first plenary on the Thursday, which was our stammering tribe, which was presented by Hanan, and that was just like that really just uh, it it really spoke to me, because it was maybe how I got involved with the community in the first place as well. So when I made the decision to try and do something about my stammering, I decided to join a adult report group here in Dublin, and so and that report group was my introduction into the community also. So just when Helen was talking about the even just using the community to just to fight back against the stigma that is internalized, and also on a also on a external basis that we see then as well. So I just thought that that really kind of spoke to the sense of community that I felt over the past 15 to 20 years now.
Yeah, I think that you Hanan has a great take on community, and how he kind of embodied that in the talk was great. And actually, looking back on it now, it was the right plenary to start the conference with, because it kind of put people in the right frame of mind. It gave them a good idea of what to expect, and maybe highlighted the importance of community. I think being one of the 1%, sometimes can be a bit lonely. So to find out, actually now I'm one of the 90%, because of the fluents that were there, we're in the minority. So yeah, you're right, and being in that community really gives you a sense of belonging. It gives you a sense of pride, maybe that some people have never really felt before. There aren't genuinely. I don't think there are many stammerers that can say they're proud of their stammer, proud of their voice, and to kind of to feel that sense of pride in being part of something bigger. You know, it's brilliant. The only that Hanan's plenary was fantastic. It just, there was a tinge of not sadness, but a little bit of worry for me that he did a poll. We did a poll and he asked how many people feel part of a community, and the vast majority said yes, they felt part of the community. But I think there was 7 respondents that said no, that they didn't feel part of the community. And I just wanted to ask them who they were and go and give them a big hug and tell them, well, actually, you really are part of a community. And I kind of thought, you know, I wish I could go back at the end on the Sunday night and ask those people again, do you feel part of a community now? And I really hope they would have answered in the positive.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I would be hopeful maybe over the course of the few days, from getting to know other people, maybe that they might have started to get that sense of what a community has to offer then as well. Anyway, so
yeah, for sure.
and maybe we can talk about, because just even talking about people who stammer as part of the community, But I think one of the biggest takeaways I got also was the people who were at the conference, like who were fluent but um, were working as maybe speech and language ther- therapists or maybe allies to the community. I I really got a sense of the passion that they had for the stammering community. And then I'm very hopeful about maybe, uh, especially around the speech and language therapists, about what they can bring back to the practice from actually spending that time with people who stammer then as well. So.
Yeah, you're right. There was quite a lot of advocates there, SLTs particularly, and it was really heartening to listen to their comments and to see that they were engaging really with the change, with the change that's going on in our community, and the move towards acceptance, self-acceptance and acceptance by the wider fluent community, and I think we can come away from that knowing that we are supported, but not only that, supported in the way that we would like. We're not any advice that we might get, or any assistance is kind of the assistance that we would want, and not what's given to us or sort of foisted on us sort of thing. So that was great. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think it's more the likes of kind of speech language therapists and the professionals, like the fact that they are listening to us, and it's more a sense of in empowerment of us then as well, because like we are being placed at the center of maybe the research that is happening, and then maybe the therapy that is happening then also.
That's right. Yeah. I think it's about walking alongside, and not walking along, and not walking in front and being being dragged along. It's about walking alongside.
Yeah.
There was a phrase that somebody used, and I can't remember what it was, and I've seen you quote it since. I don't know if you can remember it, about walking alongside it instead of over the top.
Oh yeah. I think that was Patrick. Was it Patrick Campbell that quoted that? I think.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and actually Patrick did a great workshop with Sam. Sorry, just with Sam Simpson. Even the workshop that they did on actually words matter. It was a very interesting one anyway. So just on the language that is used, even
Yes.
in stuttering therapy and in the wider world when it comes to stuttering. Um, so it's a language that is used that is maybe still within the kind of medical model of looking at stuttering, rather than the kind of social model anyway. So I just thought one of the great things about the conference was there's so many in interesting workshops that happened also anyway. So.
Yes, there was. Yeah, there was a lot of workshops. I think there was over 40 workshops altogether throughout the days. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to too many of them. I was a bit busy organising, but I know I went to a few, and they were really well attended, and really the presenters were excellent. and some of the takeaways, some of the messages that I saw, and I've heard people talking about them since, and you know, at the time going over what they were saying was people took a lot away from them, and I think every presenter put an awful lot of work into making those presentations mean something, and they certainly did. I was lucky enough to go to Rachel Everard's about microaggressions, and that, you know, that's something I'd not really thought of. I'd not considered that, and I kind of, I like to see the best in people. So when somebody says, "Oh, you know, you're having quite a fluent day," I think, "Oh, you know, that's quite nice," but actually, you know, it's a bit of a put down, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I thought about what Rachel said. You know what? She's absolutely right. You know, who's that person to tell me whether a fluent day is a good day or a bad day? It's just a day. You know? So yeah, that's something definitely to think about, and how to respond to those microaggressions, for sure.
Definitely.
Was there any workshop that you went to that you particularly stood out for you?
I think maybe the workshop on, I think it was the first day where Vivian and it was Paul, I think. Sorry, let's see here.
Was that the acceptance and change?
Yeah. So it was the one, the acceptance and change, where Vivian Siskin, Neil Christian, and Nick Brow, and Ben. Now Ben couldn't be there, but actually Ben had recorded a video message, and so yeah, it was just because I think that workshop really kind of spoke to me, because it was all about like, you can still be very accepting of your suffering, but then you can still want to change maybe how you stutter then. So like, if you want to stutter more easily, if you want to maybe look at some of the masking that is kind of still happening, like, you know, and then it is totally okay to just to work on them things also. So yeah, so and I think so that workshop did have a big impact on myself, because I have decided to go and do the arts program that Vivian is doing. So I am hoping to start Vivian's program soon. So I'm looking forward to getting into arts now. So sorry, arts is the
that's great news. Well done.
yeah. Sorry, just for people that don't know, so the arts is avoidance reduction therapy for stuttering. So yeah, so it will just be another step on my stuttering journey then as well. So it's one I'm looking forward to. Anyway.
I kind of something that, because I went to that workshop as well, I thought it was very good. Something that Vivian and the guys were talking about was the journey, and I made a note about the journey suggests an end or a destination, and it made me think. I wonder if there is a destination. I wonder if if I want to get to the destination, I'm actually quite enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
You know, it's not such a bad journey when I get to meet guys like you and chat on this, and then I get to be involved with STAMMAFest.
Very
It's not
cool.
a bad old journey, is it?
No, because look, and personally, I like to use the just the word journey because like because it just happens over such a vast amount of time that then that tends to go quickly also, you know, because I can think back to maybe when I was a teenager and I feel a lot different about my stammer now, you know, and I even
Yeah,
feel different maybe to 5 or 6 years back anyway. So it is definitely just a journey then that happens that you don't necessarily really want to reach a destination uh, because 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 I think stammering can be it can bring you loads of joy in certain points also because I do think about just the work I do as a support group facilitator. And after finishing some of the meetings, I'd be buzzing. I'd be just like just so happy, just kind of meeting the people that I meet and hearing the stories and just that level of empathy that is shown for you to a person, but also that people show you that level of empathy and
yeah,
understanding them. So,
yeah. I don't know what the destination would look like, and I kind of, I'm not sure whether I want to, I'm not sure whether I want to find out. I'm quite happy traveling the road.
yeah, cool.
The journey does change, though. I'm sure you'll agree. It's a very up and down journey.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes there's some mountains we climb, and
Mm.
sometimes it's a flat or plain. But it's an interesting one.
Yeah, you know, and look, then there's times when we have to deal with the stuff that's going on the in side. So that it isn't just the this fluency thing that you are seeing. It's maybe how we feel about it, and it's maybe how we felt about it. His historically also anyway, so it's just delving into all them little pockets anyway, really, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So Paul, maybe I can ask you about the open mic sessions that happened at STAMMAFest. Personally, I found like they were just really good. It was like there's just that level of trust where people are getting up, maybe talking for the first time in front of a group of people, and maybe like, and maybe their emotions are running high then as well. Like um, so I think that the open mic it really has to be a kind of safe space for people then. So but I think that was the sense that I got from attending then the two open mic sessions anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm really glad you felt like that, because that open mic to me is I'm very passionate about open mic. Um, I did my first in 2006, and it was really quite life changing for me. So I was really keen to be able to facilitate that for other people. We had we had 3 open mic sessions altogether, because what we found before is that the main one, if you like, the big one on the Sundays, really oversubscribed, and lots of people want to say something, and you kind of you 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 feel awful telling people, look guys, sorry, we've run out of time. So there was a one on Thursday, one on Saturday, and the main one on Sunday. And all of those, we had people there that spoke for the first time. The the Thursday was really quite small, but some people turned up, which was great. Friday there was a few more there, and then the main event, if you will, on Sunday. And you're absolutely right. It's about giving people that opportunity to even if they just walk up to the front and say their name, it doesn't matter. That for some people is a massive step, and to be able to give that feeling to somebody, to allow them to go home and think, and I did that. I stood up there and I did that. So so it was a real privilege for me to be, and to have Hanan there on Sunday as well, to kind of bounce off and to do it together, because I know he's just a bit as bigger advocate for that as I am. And you're right, it's about trust, the audience trusting the person to give a little bit of themselves, and the speaker trusting the audience to listen. And I think open mics, as much about the audience, are just as important as the speaker, because you have to have that audience to be able to be a speaker. And I think the difference between that, if you say you're doing a presentation at work or to a local group, the difference between that and open mic is every single person at open mic wants you to succeed. Nobody wants you to feel you haven't done your best, because for that first time, I could go on about this all night, because that first time is something to give of yourself to your community. We go back to the community again, to give a little bit of yourself, and I mean, I don't know whether you saw me on the Sunday, but I got quite emotional. There was one or two people there that said, and it really puts a lump in your throat, to see somebody and to know that they're feeling what you feel. When you did your first open mic, and to know that, I don't know, they could go home to their mother, father, husband, wife, brothers, sister, partner, whatever, and say, "I know what, I stood up in front of hundreds of people and spoke." And for somebody that maybe turned up on the Thursday and was a little bit worried about, and didn't want to speak to anybody, to then see them speaking on Sunday is a great privilege for all of us that were there, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Dr. Chris Constantino talks about the vulnerability can really lead to something magic. It can really just lead to just something that's and it's not quite tangible, but like it's just a sense then as well, isn't it? Like a sense for people. So if you can show that vulnerability with someone else, normally it is reciprocated back to you then as well. Anyway.
Definitely, there's a you talk about magic. You can feel it crackling in the air, and actually talking about it, hands on the arms down, hairs on the back of the arms are standing up, because it is intangible, but it's real. It's real.
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah,
cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah, cool, man, excellent. Maybe we can talk, because so we've talked about some of the workshops, we've talked about some of the plenaries, maybe the social side, which was very good as well, Paul. Anyway, so now obviously being from Ireland, the Irish delegation were well up for the social side of things. We were teaching the Americans all about having the a crack anyway. So then they were happy anyway. So, but so because we would have had so there was the quiz on the. Was that the Friday night the quiz was on?
That was Friday night,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Then the
Yeah.
quiz was the quiz was good air crack as well.
Well, the quiz, I hosted that, and Dean Ridge did all the computer side, and Jenny, our friend, sorted the scores. But between us, we came up with the questions, and a quiz is a quiz, but it's about the people that take part and the teams. And one thing we were really keen on doing was mixing people up, to get that community buzzing and to get people talking to new people. And as you know, we kind of gave people names of animals, and then they had to go and find their other animals and join the team. And we were a little bit worried that people wouldn't like that, being early on. But I think they really embraced it, and everybody took it, got into the spirit of it, and I think really enjoyed being in a new team with new people. It was really good. It worked really well, and I think you had a little side bet. I think with somebody.
Yeah, we had a side bet going on. So there was so there was Hope who Hope Laksuk was on one of the other teams, and now Tipple the typical Americans to be talking a bit of smack as well anyway, like so myself and Hope had a bit of a side bet on to say that now we didn't have to win the quiz, but the team had to finish above the other person's team, and then the loser had to get a photo done with the winner, just like this. Like so, and then so you probably know yourself that I was going up to you during. I think the quiz was halfway over, and I was trying to get you. I was trying to get you to give me whether or not my team was in the league. And then you were going to throw me off the scent there anyway. So I was feeling a little bit worried that I was going to have to be the one to get the loser picture. But hopefully, thankfully, I have to say that my team, then the Pigs, came out on top of the Crocodiles, I think that they were called.
I think Hope was in the Crocodiles, yeah.
Yeah, so go.
Well done.
Go, Pigs anyway, like.
Go Pigs. Yeah, but it's that sort of thing that for me the conference is just as much about the social aspect as it is, the plenary is very important, the workshop's crucial, but the social side, getting people to mix, make new friends, make new contacts all around the world is part of it, and I think I hope that worked on Friday. I think it did.
Yeah, it did. And I think I just have another little story from, I think it was the Friday night when, so there's a group of us decided to go into Liverpool just to head out in the city. I think we were looking for a whiskey bar or something anyway, because I was trying to introduce some of the lads to Irish kind of whiskey. Now, just on a gentle basis, just like,
of course.
So we were kind of walking around town. Now, this whiskey bar was closed down, the one that we were due to go to. But then we saw this other bar, and the bar seemed quite empty. And then there was quite a big group of us that were out, so all of us kind of went into this bar. So it was like the whole bar just got took over by people who stammer then, so and I was up at the bar, and I was talking to the person that was up at the bar, and she was asking me were we over on holidays, like, and I was telling her no, we were part of the um stammering group that was at the stammering conference that was happening in the university, and she turned around and said, "Oh yeah, I I heard about you guys yesterday, like, you know."
Oh,
So
fantastic.
and then so I just had this vision in my head of the whole team for I think the team for this year's International Stammering Awareness Day is to be seen and to be heard, like. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was there, yeah, job done, like. Now
No
she was
stammer.
actually lovely, like she was saying, oh yeah, we heard about you guys yesterday. It is it is it is great to have you here in Liverpool. So yeah, it was a really nice, like, you know, it was just nice.
That's fantastic. That's brilliant. Dean and myself were on the local radio station a couple of weeks before, um, just trying to promote the whole conference. So I hope that it got the message across.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool, yeah, yeah.
it sounds like it did.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe just a little word about Liverpool was such a great city as well, then just to
Brilliant.
host it, because like um even just walking around, so after the conference would have finished, I think on the either the Wednesday or the, sorry, it was the Thursday, then I think myself and Ashlyn, she's one of the speech therapists from Dublin, so the two just had a walk around Liverpool, and it's such a nice city just to look at, and even, but there was just a friendly atmosphere that was around the city, and it was just really nice. Like, it was just a lovely city.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons we chose the University of Liverpool was it's close to the heart of the city, close to what's going on. It's easy for people to go out in the evenings and take a walk into town, get some food, get maybe a whiskey or two. I don't know.
Yeah,
So but yeah, and just a word about the staff at the uni. Absolutely brilliant. They could not do enough for us.
yeah,
They were
yeah,
really, really great. I mean, Stammer produced a little video about kind of what it's like to stammer and how it maybe to interact with a stammer, and they showed it to all the staff, all the catering staff, all the accommodation staff, the guys in Starbucks, um, the coach drivers and the tour guides. They all saw it and they thought it was great. So hopefully that 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 helped things along a little bit.
yeah. And just maybe a word of thanks, because the conference, it was so well org, org, organized that everything just went really smoothly, just for us as the delegates at it anyway. Like, everything was happening on the right time that it was meant to happen. Um, like the and even just all of the volunteers, then they really made us just feel really welcome then as well. So it was great. Like, so,
Well,
uh,
thank you. It's great to hear that. But we couldn't have done it without each and every one of you guys coming along and certainly taking part. So,
yeah,
thank you to you guys too.
cool. So yeah, so yeah, maybe just to finish up then. So I'm look, I'm just looking forward to this happening more often in the future then as well. So 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 that we will get like just more opportunities to meet up in in a person then as well, and also, and I suppose just from attending the workshops, you were nearly kind of get in inspired to maybe just to do one of your own workshops maybe when it comes to a future one or something anyway, like, you know. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, historically, these conferences, STAMMA organise a conference every 2 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, we missed 2020, as I said, but I'd love to get involved in another one. I doubt it'll officially be an international one, but I certainly hope there'll be international people there. They're very welcome.
Yeah.
We tend to move them around the country to kind of share. They're traveling around a little bit, but yeah, and it is. I think for me, maybe that would be the next step. Organising a workshop. I think something I've thought about, but never really had the nerve, if you like, to go through with. So maybe something I could look at.
Yeah, and I think from people meeting, so from people kind of meeting up with different people, I just think it's maybe an opportunity for collaborations to happen in the future then as well, like, you know. So because I just think different people bring different talents to the table then as well. So and then from people having that opportunity to meet up, maybe that it will foster a spirit of collaboration just in the future then as well.
Yeah, I think such as we're chatting now, I think there's a lot of spin-offs from an event like this, and it's great. And exactly what you said. Each little collaboration builds another joint in the community, and the more joints, the more crisscrossing we get, the stronger the community gets.
Cool. That's excellent, Paul. We should probably kind of wrap things up. Just to say thanks for actually coming on the Stutterverse here and just sharing your thoughts on the epic event that was STAMMAFest Global. Anyway.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been great to reflect. You've certainly reminded me of the great time that we all had there. Cheers, Stephen.
Cool. Brilliant, Paul. Listen, I will talk to you soon anyway. So.
Okay, cheers.
Okay.
See you.
See you now.